Welcome to REIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josey. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josey. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josey, creator of REIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing one of their past projects. We will let you decide if it was good or bad or just plain ugly. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is how to invest out of state without stepping foot in the property. Breaking into out-of-state investing can feel intimidating, but you don't need a plane ticket to build a killer portfolio. With the right systems and a trusted team, you can crush deals from your own backyard. So, how do you invest confidently in properties you've never seen before? Here are 5 actionable tips to help you invest out of state like a badass. Number 1, build a rockstar local team. Connect with a reliable agent, property manager, and general contractor who know the local market inside and out. Your boots on the ground crew are your eyes and ears. Number 2, leverage virtual tours and inspections. Use video walkthroughs, 3D tours, and live video calls for showings and inspections. Insist on detailed real-time visuals so you're never left guessing about a property's condition. Number 3, tap into the local networking groups. Join online investor forums, Facebook groups, and join local RIAs in your target market. These connections can tip you off to deals, pitfalls, and trusted vendors. Number 4, rely on data, not just gut feelings. Dive into neighborhood stats, rental comps, and historic trends using tools like Zillow, Rentometer, and public records. Let the numbers guide your decisions, not emotions. And number 5, set clear expectations and systems. Have written processes for communications, repairs, and rent collection. A solid system keeps you in control, even from hundreds of miles away. So, REIN Nation, remember, you don't need to step foot in a property to make a smart investment. With the right team, tech, and due diligence, you can build your wealth from anywhere. That's how you flex your badassery and grow your empire. No travel required. If you want to learn more on how I do this, check out Rental Property Pro by clicking on the link in the show notes. Now on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. Today's guest is my friend, Sandi Spier, who's been investing in real estate since 2016 and working in communications in the gaming and software industry since 1999, with plans to leave that desk job soon. Sandi's tackled everything from full gut flips to new construction to BRRRR deals, historic renovations for tax benefits, and all types of rentals. She also serves as secretary on the North Carolina Real Estate Investors Association board and leads their Women in Real Estate subgroup. Originally from Southern California, Sandi now calls Cary, North Carolina home, where she lives with her husband, 2 teenagers, and 2 cats. It's my pleasure to have her on the show, so welcome, Sandi Spier. Hello, friend.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fabulous. Last time I saw you, we were getting off a plane from where? Iceland. And you were one of the amazing people who traveled with the REIN sponsored trip that we did in Iceland. When was it? June?
Mm-hmm.
So much fun. Tell me a little bit before we get into the episode here, but tell me a little bit about your experience there.
It was amazing. I'd never been before and it was on my bucket list. So was very excited. It's kind of like a different planet.
Yes, it was like Mars.
Yeah, it's just so cool. And the group that we went with was great. It was a really, really good experience for me, just getting to hang out with like-minded individuals and just explore new places. So it was great.
You know, I have been on several retreat type experiences and where you have speakers all day long. And when I designed this trip, I was like, I just want to see shit. I just want to go out there and experience things. And I'm going to take some of my real estate investor friends with me. So that was my whole point. But it ended up, we would get back to the hotel about 4 o'clock every day, and drinks in Iceland are expensive. So they had happy hour at the hotel every day at 4 o'clock. We were back there and we had these amazing, like just organic conversations, and I just loved it. I feel like everyone was different from different aspects of real estate. And so, Sandi, I thank you for joining us on that trip because you added so much to it. And my introverts unite on that trip. We had some introverts there. So yes, you were just fabulous. So thank you for joining us on that. But we are not talking about that. We are talking about a past project. And I remember you doing this project. I purposely did not read all of your answers that you sent over because I want to hear about it firsthand, because it's been a hot minute since I've heard about this one. But we are talking about a project that you did in Durham, North Carolina, and I'm going to let you take it from here. So give us a little bit about the property description.
Okay, so it is a historic house built in 1927 in Old East Durham. It's rather large, about 3,200 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms
Ooh.
on almost a double lot. It was like 1.5, 1.75 lot. And it was a historically significant house. So I wanted to save it because I like saving old houses, even though that it's a thing. So it can be
You can't always
challenging.
do it. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like you see
Yeah.
houses and then the people go in and do weird things to them and there's no way you can save them, or foundations. I'm with you, Sandi, 1,000% on that. If I can keep the house, I'm going to do my best to do it. So keep going.
Yep. Yeah. So let's see. It was very distressed. There was a hoarder situation. So which makes it hard, when you have your due diligence period and you're going in, and I had my structural engineer go in and do a report, and my GC was in there, and you think that you come up with a pretty good estimate, which was already high, but you don't know until you have removed all the stuff and start opening walls. So it was a project.
So why was this property significant?
The house was built by Doc W. Brown, a successful Black businessman in the area.
I love that you kept that because, there's history to things and people just will go through, trash the property, demolish it, and then put something uber modern there that doesn't even fit in the neighborhood. So Sandi, I just love that you really put meaning behind it as well. So how did you find this property?
Well, I had a search set up on the MLS. I typically use wholesalers, but sometimes the MLS has stuff. So it popped up in my search. Turns out it was listed by a wholesaler. So I was still working with a wholesaler kind of, but that's how I found it. Yeah.
And going back to the historic aspect of it, were there historic regulations in the area? Because I've renovated a house that was in what's called a street side overlay in downtown Raleigh. Oh, God, you have to so many hoops to jump through for those type of properties. Did you have any situations like that?
No, fortunately.
Okay,
there are areas in Durham that are like that you have to, work with the city on. But this one was outside of that,
Good.
But it was still historically significant. So I could still work with the historic preservation and get tax credits.
Ooh, tax credits. All right, very nice. So what was the original asking price and then what did you get it for?
The asking price was $190 and I got it for $160.
Oh, okay. What year was this?
2018.
Oh, okay, good. And at time of purchase, what was your estimated after repair value or ARV?
Conservatively, it was around 490, 500-ish.
Okay, and why do you say conservatively? Why is that important?
Because you don't want to shoot for the stars, I guess, when you're you're planning what you can sell it for, because a lot can change in a year. And things can happen with the project. So when you're doing your numbers, you kind of want to go on that lower end just in case.
Listeners, listen to Sandi. That is so important not to overestimate, because that can be, you got to buy it right. So you were talking about repairs, and this is a hoarder house, and I have purchased a handful of hoarder houses actually, and you can't even see the floor in some of them. So what were your estimated repairs at the time of purchase?
At the time, the estimated repairs were 200,000.
Okay.
So
what big things, what big ticket items?
Big ticket items, we knew that it had crumbling plaster. We knew we were going to have to take all the plaster down and do drywall. We knew there were some foundation issues from our structural engineers. We budgeted for a good portion of foundation issues. It needed a full gut, but I like to keep the charm of an old house. So I don't like to just put in modern stuff. So yeah, it was just a full gut job on a large house with some foundation issues.
And getting rid of plaster is heavy. That is some heavy stuff. And there's always concerns of, what is it called? Asbestos in there, because it was a really good insulator back in the day. But a lot of the listeners actually don't know this. They think, gosh, I'm going to have to gut it down to the studs, and that's going to be so much more money. It actually will save you money, because when you are exposing the studs, your plumber, your electrician, your HVAC people can get in there and do the work a lot easier. And if you're trying to fish wires through plaster, that is very difficult to do. And then it raises your labor costs as well. So, some people think, gosh, why would you do that? But it actually will save you money in the long haul.
Yeah, we needed all new systems, and there was no HVAC at all. So yeah, we had to put in everything.
Oh. So what was your projected timeline?
I was thinking 6 to 8 months.
Okay, for a full gut job. Oh, that's ambitious.
It was, yes, it was very ambitious. So yeah.
So any surprises while you're going through renovations?
Yes, there were lots of surprises. We had, I think, 2 like 40-yard dumpsters full of the hoarder stuff. So, I mean, it was one of those where you could not see the floors. So, when you get all that stuff out and you pull out carpet and linoleum and whatnot, and you realize that the linoleum is holding the floor together and things like that.
Did you have hardwood floors underneath the carpet at least?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
However, which killed me, is we had to take out all of the hardwood floors in the lower floor, because pretty much everything was rotten, termites and water damage. So we had to replace a lot of piers, the rim band almost completely, most of the floor joists, even on the wraparound porch. So yeah, and then of course subfloor, and then replacing the hardwoods. And then there was some of that upstairs too. There was a bathroom that must have been leaking for just like decades, and it was really just like held up with the linoleum in there. And I mean, once they took that out, like you could just look down and see into the like floor below. So we're like rebuilding all of that.
Oh my goodness.
So,
I skipped over this. How did you finance this deal? I totally forgot to ask this part.
I used a private lender.
Okay. And do you remember like your points and your percentage, any of that?
I was newer. So I think it was a little bit more expensive than what I would pay now, but it was 12% with 3 points.
Okay. And for the audience, what does 3 points mean?
3 points is, each point is like a percentage on your total loan value.
Good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully now we have experience, we get lower. Sometimes we don't even have to pay points if we're dealing with private money lenders. So was this like you're paying monthly interest payments while this is going on, or you had a balloon payment at the end?
Balloon payment at the end. Yeah.
Very good. And then what was your exit strategy with this property? You're just flipping it?
Yeah. The original exit strategy,
original,
I like to say original plan A was flip. Yeah.
Okay. And so then what happened?
We ended up with Plan C. Uh,
Well, wait, what was plan B?
so Plan B. So yeah, so we, as we're uncovering things, I'm realizing like this is just my budget was just like exploding because we almost had to like basically rebuild the house. And I'm realizing like if I were just to flip it, there's no way, like I'd be underwater, like there would be no way. So I was thinking that I would look into tax credits and see how that works. And there are tax credits for, if you are selling the house, like if you just fix it up and you get the one-time tax credits. But they're capped, at least then, I don't know if it's changed, but then it was capped at 22,500. And it's a percentage of your qualified expenses.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, well, 22,000 is not really going to help me that much with this. So I started looking into their income producing tax credits, and that was much more appealing because it's not capped in the same way and you collect the credits over 5 years. So instead of being capped at 22,000, it's capped at like 4.5 million, and it can go projects up to 20 million. So
Wow.
they use it also for, like commercial buildings and stuff like larger projects. But you can do it with houses too. So I decided, so this is Plan C. Plan B was just tax credits and still trying to sell it, whatnot. So my Plan C was, okay, I'm going to hold the property now. I'm going to finish it up, refinance it, rent it out, and submit for income producing tax credits. And then I will collect those credits over 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, then I will sell it. So it was a long game.
Goodness.
Yeah.
And did you have a long-term renter in there? I feel like you short-term rented it from what? Oh, it was a long-term renter.
No, it was long term. At the time that area was very up and coming. So I don't think it would have been a very good place for a short-term rental, but it was great for long-term rentals. I had the same
Good.
tenants for the entire 5 years.
Nice. And then, okay, so then you refinance. We'll get to that in a minute here. But what were some of the key takeaways with this tax credit? How does one even like figure out about tax credits? Where do you go?
Well, I'm trying to think of the website there. I'm a member of Preservation Durham already. So
Oh,
I had heard of them and I knew they had some information on their website. So I started there and then I just Googled and
gotcha.
found the rest of the information. It's definitely a big process, and you have to start in the very beginning. If you're going to do tax credits, you want to get them involved right away. The biggest key is taking pictures of everything before you do anything. Like don't
Oh,
like once you like clean it out, but then you need to take a picture of every single room from every single angle. So you want to stand in like every corner, and hallways, ceilings, floors, everything. Like you want pictures of everything. Same with the outside, every single angle outside, because they will use that to compare with your after project pictures and make sure that you did things the way you were supposed to do in accordance with their rules and whatnot, and kind of go with there. But there's a lot of paperwork, there's fees, there's applications, there's
ugh.
things to do along the way. It's involved, but it was absolutely worth it.
Okay.
Mhm.
I always take before photos, but I would not think to go to every corner of the room and get, that is a huge nugget right there for the listener. So thank you for sharing that. Now, you said by the way, I'm going different directions here. I remember when we were doing the historic home on Glenwood Avenue, the windows were there. Like, why are windows so stinking important to like, it was so dumb to me that we could not replace the windows with energy efficient windows. We had
Yeah.
to repair these
Mhm.
that, we were getting lizards coming into the house, and there were huge gaps. And so, and our electric bill was ridiculous. Did you have any issues with windows like that?
Yeah, you can't replace windows. So so
You have to
yeah,
fix them.
and
It was like
it's expensive.
$10,000 for us to
Yeah.
fix
Yeah,
just broken
because
panes and stuff. So you had to do the same thing?
Yeah. So we reglazed all of the windows. We had to take layers and layers of paint off and, so that you could actually open and close them. They have to be functioning. We had to replace the rope and weight,
Yep.
systems in them and, like repaint and everything. And of course they're like the windows that have the grids and everything. So it's a lot, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's also varies from area. So this one was in Durham. I did a historic home in Rocky Mount, our very first project. You think your project was big. This is a 4,200 square foot home, but it was just about the grids. You had to keep the same grid fashion
Oh,
and
okay.
what
Yeah.
you replaced them with. So you're just triggering some memories for me here. But oh my goodness gracious. I just need someone to explain to me at some point why it's important to keep a piece of glass that's 100 years old when like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Do you have any input on that?
I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, I do know that in talking with the Durham preservation guys, like they were excited about like, oh, you can tell that this glass is original because it's kind of wavy or whatnot, whereas like some of them we had to replace. Like we had people during the project throwing rocks through the windows, just I don't know, fun. We have to like go and replace the glass again. So yeah, so they get excited about like original features. So you can tell when glass is actually original glass versus glass that's been replaced and stuff. So I think it's just about like preserving everything that you can.
Well, they can come pay my electric bill next time. So,
Yeah.
all right. So you had an estimated timeline of 6 to 8 months. What was your actual timeline?
12 months.
Really? That is great for a full gut job. Goodness, I
Yes,
want to
I
be
have
you when
a
I grow
good
up.
crew. Yeah.
That is awesome. All right. So you have the property, you refinance it, and you hold it for 5 years.
Mhm.
At the end of the 5 years, did you end up listing it?
Mhm.
Okay. So what was
Um,
go ahead.
oh no,
I
what
was
were
just
you?
going to say, what was your list price?
Oh, okay. So I listed it for 700 over the years. I mean, another benefit is that I knew it was an up and coming area. So holding it, the area was getting nicer, and so it appreciated a lot.
And you originally
Um,
thought like 490-ish, four
mhm.
to 500. So
Yeah.
appreciated 200K.
Yeah.
Goodness, keep going.
Yeah, so I listed at 700,000. I was very lucky with timing because Preservation Durham was doing a historic house tour, and they wanted my house on the tour. And at
Nice.
first they came up and they're like, "We know you have renters. Like, is this going to be okay?" And I was like, "Actually, I'm selling, And so I based my sale date, like putting it on the market, on their tour date. So I listed it, I think like the day before or the day of or something, the tour, so that it was for sale when all the people were going through it.
Okay, and before we get to like breaking down some numbers here, what were you renting it for?
Oh, gosh, I actually don't remember.
But
It was
was it cash flowing for you throughout the 5 years?
Oh, no, so I was breaking even on rent and
Okay.
expenses, but because of the tax credits, I was getting $22,000 back every year in tax credits.
Oh,
So that, I mean, that was kind of like my positive cash flow, I guess. Yeah, was
very
the
good.
tax credits. Mhm.
All right, so you have a mortgage, your renters are paying the mortgage, everything is, and then you're good. Do you have a lot of repairs going on throughout the 5 years?
Not really.
Okay.
I had good tenants. I mean, it was just all standard, just standard rental
Okay.
stuff.
Gotcha. All right. So you have the preservation committee doing tours and you have it listed for 700,000. How many days on the market was it?
2 days on the market.
And you got it under contract. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
And
we've got
we'll
multiple
get
offers.
what year was this? So 2018.
This was 2023.
Okay. Oh, okay. Very good. And while you're under contract, because this is the part where I start sweating, did you have to do like during the due diligence period? Did anything come up that you had to replace or do anything during that time?
No, and I think it's because after my renters moved out, I had my guys come in and just do like a total refresh and check everything out, make sure everything was good, fix anything that was broken. So it was just, it was all ready to go. So I didn't have to do anything when it was under contract.
Nice. All right. So let's break down these final numbers. Your purchase price was 160,000.
Yeah.
Your estimated repairs was 200,000. What were your actual repairs?
389,000.
Oh. Wow. Oh my goodness. Almost double. So how did you finance that?
I kept my original loan like with my
Private money
private
lender.
lender, and then I used my HELOC.
Your HELOC. Okay. And that's very creative because a lot of times people, they get loans or stuff like that. If you have equity in your own home, you can use a HELOC. I can remember we always used our HELOC as whoopsie extra things to do. So on a project, it was always good to have that. And it was a lower percentage rate when we got the HELOC. Now it's getting up. I think they're like 5 or 6% now. They're getting up there for a percentage. Anyway, I digress. What were your holding costs?
Let's see. Holding costs were about 6,800.
Okay. And then your interest. So the interest for the
private money,
the private money loan, what was your interest for that?
48,000.
Okay. But you paid that off when you refinanced.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. And then what total tax credits did you get over time?
I got 109,000 back in tax credits.
Nice. And your commissions when you were selling?
Let's see, 38,000.
Okay. All right. Not too bad. Closing costs, what about 5,000?
Yep, 4,600.
Okay. And then what was your final sales price?
I sold it for 760,000.
And what was your total profit?
Total profit was 202,600. So yeah, almost 203,000. Yeah.
I need a louder cha-ching sound. So the moral of the story here is, and this is so important for our listeners, is you've got to learn to pivot in real estate. You not only had plan B, you had a plan C, and something that you thought you were going to have for 6 to 8 months, list it, sell it right away. You end up having it for 5 years, and it brings in all this extra money. So it was definitely a good investment. For the listeners, I have people who are like, I'm just a wholesaler. All I want to do is wholesale, and they put up their blinders and they could have great deals come across their desk. There's people who only want to fix and flip, where you get a deal that comes across your desk that you could wholesale it to somebody else and make a quick 50K, or you can flip it and make 80K in a year from now. So there's just, I love that you are exposed to different options here. I just think that's so very important to the listeners. And I think that also is beneficial by being part of a group, a local RIA, and you're in a leadership position in that one, because then you have all your support system around you. People that do this alone are just digging a hole for themselves. And when you have those people who are around you to offer suggestions, I just think that is very, very important. So after completing this project, this long 6-year project actually, what were your main takeaways?
Let's see. I think a lot of the takeaways just had to do with the historic aspect of it. Tax credits, if you're going to do it, just start right away, like early, with the historic preservation people. Like, they're there to help. They're really nice people. They're super, super helpful. And they just want to see you succeed in it, because they just, at the end of the day, they want to save old houses.
Yes.
And so they're there for you. So it is daunting and it's a lot of work, but there's people to hold your hand.
Good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Well, now doing future projects, do you do anything differently after completing this one?
I have not done a historic house since, although it doesn't mean that I won't, because I still love them. But I think it's just, make sure you have a much larger contingency budget. I thought I had a pretty good one, but I did not. Just expect for there to be surprises on the historic houses, because they're old. Things go wrong over time. And
how is it okay?
Timeline. Oh, yeah. I was just going to say timeline, maybe add some padding in the timeline too. Yeah.
And then having done a historic home, and I know you've done new builds, how do you feel about the difference between those style of projects?
They're both fun for me. I think new builds for me are way less stressful. I mean, because I mean, there's not the same kind of surprises with a new build. You have your plan and you can execute on your plan and everything's new, and surprises are usually having to do with contractor problems or something. But
Yeah, supply issues and
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
So I mean, but I think like the historic houses for me are more rewarding. They might be a little bit more fun in certain aspects, but can be a lot more stressful because there are always issues with the houses.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Sandi, this was such a great project for the listeners to listen to and to hear about it. But you've done all different types of projects. And I just want to talk, one of my favorite projects that you've done you have not one, but two gorgeous mountain properties. And I think, are you selling, but did you sell one? And you use them as Airbnb. So I also have a mountain Airbnb, or short-term rental, we should probably just say, but yours is on a way different level from mine. So tell us a little bit about your mountain properties.
The first one that we did was a new build. We bought a lot in Eagle's Nest. The lodge is the Eagle's Nest, which is in Banner Elk, and it's a gated, like, fancy community. And so we built that one, new construction, and put it on the vacation rental market as a short-term rental.
Is it hard if it's in a gated community for vacation rental people?
This particular one at the time, it did really, really well in the beginning. The gated community, like, they are very, very particular. Like, you cannot manage it yourself, and it has to be managed by one of their approved companies. So like the company that we used, they have offices on site in the community. But one of the ways that this developer brought people in was like, hey, come build your house and then you can rent it out and make money while you're not using a house. So over the years, it just, it's very saturated in that area as far as rentals go. But a lot of people love going there and vacationing there. So, it still makes money, but not as much as it used to.
And it is gorgeous. Where do you get your style, your design ideas from? I mean, I remember is it a rhododendron? Am I using the right word? Is it rhododendron?
Yeah.
Railing? Yes. I'm like, that is just so pretty. So where do you get your ideas from?
I love doing design. Like, that's my favorite part,
yes.
is like designing everything. I kind of just I just look at lots of inspiration pictures, and then I'll just find something that I really like and run with it, like, just for the whole house. So
gotcha. Very cool. And then you have a smaller one out there. Are you selling either of these, or?
So yeah, so the larger one I decided to sell, and it's under contract right now. So
congrats.
we'll close in October.
Yay.
So we did pretty well on that one too. It appreciated quite a lot while we held it. And then I have a smaller cabin in Zionville, which is like a log and chinking cabin built in the 90s. It was very distressed when I got it because I seem to be drawn to very distressed properties. And I fixed that one up. That one's more rustic, and it's more like a whimsical kind of naturey vibe. And I started with a short-term rental on that one, and it did not do well as a short-term rental. I don't know if it was just too far out there, but I converted it to a mid-term rental, and that's done awesome. Like, I wish I started as a mid-term rental on that one.
And again, to the listeners, learn to pivot in real estate, because you don't have to be stuck in one lane. You can change directions anytime. So Sandi, I appreciate you going off topic here and talking about those, because those are my favorite properties that you have. So, and congrats on being under contract. So we are going to move to the second part of the podcast here, which is what makes Sandi Spier a badass. And I use the acronym BADASS, and the first letter is B for book. What's a book that's made a huge difference in your life?
This probably not the typical answer that people give, but I'm just gonna say Harry Potter, because I mean, and this is because I used to hate reading. Like all growing up, I hated reading like through school and college. I hated it. And I think it's because I just everything I read was like a textbook or like assigned to me. And Harry Potter was like the very first book that I read and like enjoyed and had fun and was like, oh, like maybe I like reading. And I was like 24. And so it's like I didn't discover that until I was like in my 20s. So yeah, it made me realize that like I just needed like a fun and whimsical genre to like capture my attention. And so that's still like young adult fantasy is still like the genre that I like. So anyway, yeah, Harry Potter.
Well, I don't know if you're still going to be friends with me after this, but I've never read Harry Potter. I've never read it. And I was a school teacher when it was hot, hot, hot. And nope, I bought it. I started reading it. I couldn't get into it. So I'm
Yeah, I
the,
mean everybody has their own thing that they
yes.
like, you know.
But I love that about you. You're so fun. All right. The first A in badass is for advice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I don't know if it's like the best advice ever because I don't know, there's some good advice out there. But I think it's to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and better than you at things that you want to get better at. Um,
Ah,
Never gone wrong with that.
so very important. And I want to take a little left turn here for a second and tell us a little bit about your leadership position in our local RIA.
Oh well, I started volunteering with them I think 3 years ago. Can't I, time is
And
like
that's where I met you, by the way, was through NC
yeah
RIA. Yes.
yeah.
So
Um,
how has that opened doors for you is where I'm getting to.
it's just a great networking opportunity. Like to volunteer with your local RIA is awesome because you're not only helping them out, you're helping out other people and you're meeting just so many different people, at the meetings or at the even at like the board meetings, I get to talk with people that are very like much more experienced than I am. It's just a great way to meet people and give back.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing me to your wire meetings, the Women in Real Estate,
Thank
and
you.
allowing me to speak there. So I always have a great time. All right, moving on. The D in badass is for drive. What drives you to be successful?
I think, I mean, just like my family and doing well for them, but then also I'd like to live and retire comfortably and I'd like to travel and I'd like to have, like my dream home someday. And so that's probably my drive.
And it's
An
top,
early retirement would be nice.
I was going to say it's top secret that you're actually leaving your job soon. So, and I can say that because this is getting released after it's getting announced. So, what are you going to do with your time?
Well, I work almost full time doing internal communications and I do real estate like on the side and it's just a lot. And I've been trying to simplify my life and I want to do stuff that makes me happy all the time and realizing that my desk job, wasn't that. I mean, it's
Mhm.
comfortable because it's like a steady paycheck, but that was one of the reasons I decided to sell the big cabin because then I can take that leap and just go full time into real estate investing. I'm not sure exactly what direction I want to take. I'm doing a new build with some partners right now. I might continue more of that, but I might also look into like private lending and gap funding type stuff.
Nice. Very cool. I'm
Yeah,
so excited for you.
thank you.
And get used to paying high prices for insurance.
Oh, fortunately, I'm on my husband's insurance. So,
Very nice, because that is not a fun aspect of being an entrepreneur. All
Mhm.
right. The first S in badass is for systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
I just really love organization. So I use project management software. I keep everything like very organized and like folders with naming conventions and like so just I think organization is like my big system. Like everything has its place and it keeps like my mind clear and keeps everything
Yes.
easy to
And
follow
you
and track and find.
And you do real estate on your own. Your husband's not part of your business, though. Wow,
Right.
good for you. What's some software that you use?
I I use something called Basecamp, and it's
Yeah,
something
I
that
know
I've just
Basecamp.
been using. Oh, you do? Okay. I've been using it forever. I started using it just like at my regular job. And so, being comfortable with it, I was just like, I'm just going to use this. So I just kept that. And then I use like Excel, and yeah, I'm kind of old school.
Very nice. Yeah, my Vance is a major Excel person. I'm like, cell what? Formula? Huh? He's a freak in the spreadsheets, if you know what I'm saying. All right. The final S in badass is for success. What does success mean to Sandi Spier?
What does success mean to me? Success, I guess, is being able to really enjoy what I do on a day-to-day basis, and making that into something that provides for myself and my family. So success would be being happy while making enough money to live comfortably and set aside for retirement. But also, I do like to make sure everything I do is ethical and caring about other people, caring for other people in the environment. So for me to be successful, I have to kind of do that along the way.
This is why I like you so much, Sandi. And I appreciate you coming on here. I know this is your first podcast experience. I'm popping your podcast cherry. Just so inappropriate to say, but you are just fabulous. I can remember meeting you and like, she is so cool. And I wanted to, we had drinks at that place by the airport. I can't remember what the name of that place was, but, and I was like, we're going to start a meetup. And then, yeah, that never happened, but you were just, always have been so cool and so supportive of other people and just doing all the right things. And I'm so impressed with you. If the listeners have any questions and maybe they want to find out more about, historical preservation, things like that, what's the best way for them to find you?
I have a Facebook page called Real Estate Investor Adventures. Sorry, it's Facebook. What is it? Facebook.com/real estate adventures. So you can see projects on there. I haven't been like the best about keeping up with it lately, but you can scroll down and see my cabins, and you can see the project that I talked about today. If you scroll way down to 2018, you'll get to see a lot of like before and after stuff, and some pictures from 2023 when I sold it. So there's that. And then you can find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I think that's, if you're wanting to like message me, LinkedIn is probably good.
Perfect. Well, I can't wait for you to kiss your desk job goodbye so that you and I can go grab lunch together, maybe do some day drinking. It's all about me, day drinking. So, Sandi, I appreciate you so much for coming on here. And I know you offer so much to our community. So thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was
Absolutely. And that is all. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josey by visiting therealjenjosey.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.